Hello, this is John Rhys-Davies, and you're watching Groovey.TV. Groovey.TV, where you will find the oddest and the best. Or maybe just the oddest.
Hey, this is Groovey. I'm here with the legendary John Rhys-Davies.
A legend in his own mind, John Rhys-Davies.
How are you, sir?
Pretty darn good, considering the alternative, I must say. Yes.
Well, you're dressed to the nines. You look amazing.
You know, I bought 4 suits between 1974 and 76, and I'm trying desperately to wear them out before I die. And the damn things just keep going and going and going, you know.
Only 4?
Only 4. Well, you know, they were expensive at the time. I mean, but bearing out the old adage that if a man buys a damn good suit early on and he's got a good tailor, it can expand and contract with the years.
I need some expansion and contraction here. So, sir, you are literally a master of stage, screen, and voiceover work. I wonder, do you prepare differently for the different types of roles you're doing, or how does that work?
I suppose I do, but the truth of the matter is I'm working so much that the preparation is probably subconscious now and automatic. You know, I know that when I'm working in a sound booth, I'm not going to use the bellows to produce the big noise that you would on stage. You just adapt to that. But in truth, generally speaking, it's about telling a story, and if you keep that in mind, then you're in with a chance.
Excellent. That makes perfect sense. So, what has been some of your favorite voiceover work that you've done?
Well, I am reminded constantly that Macbeth was a great one, and yes, and somebody came up to me with Aladdin, King of the Thieves, the other day. But I do. I do some documentary, voice work for documentaries. There was a marvelous lady who did a beautiful documentary last year on a young woman artist who was a pupil of Ruskin, and Ruskin was an old man, and he's a vicious old critic. He's clearly trying to seduce her. And then he falls in love with her, and then, and sometimes his criticism of her work is waspish, and at times it is just quite simply, you must not give up painting. You are actually the best woman artist that Britain has ever produced. And actually she did. She went and became a missionary and died in North Africa in 1910 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But it was such a beautiful documentary. And you just fell straight into the character. It was the material was so well chosen. It was lovely.
That is awesome. Now, you actually voice a lot of video games. How did that all get started?
Oh, I'm not a posh actor that only does films. I just love work.
Okay.
For me, acting's a muscle, and the more you use it, the better you get. And so whatever. And somebody came up to me yesterday, and they actually heard the narration that I did for Metal a Cappella, a German heavy metal group for whom I did a concept album last year.
That's awesome.
I mean, it is awesome, isn't it? I mean,
super awesome.
From Shakespeare to heavy metal. I mean, how wrong did I go?
This is so awesome. But you've been in some of my favorite video games, and it's I just want to thank you because there's some some of them are obscure to some people, like Dune 2000, one of my favorite games, and some of the other ones you've done. So, is there, how would you, if you were to give advice to someone who wanted to get into voice acting, what would you say?
Oh, giving advice about our career is just about the hardest thing to do and be positive, But this is the most democratic age of entertainment that there's ever been. I used to be very negative to young people coming up to me and say, have you got any advice for me to become an actor? The truth of the matter is, only twice in my life have I ever, without prompting, spoken to two young people and said, you should be an actor. Only twice.
Wow.
But I've got a new riff now, and the riff is basically this. Look, if you want to be an actor, no matter what sort of actor, do it. Get somebody with a little video camera, a little Canon. I've got a friend of mine, Howard Ford, who is, I think, the most brilliant young director I've ever worked with.
Oh, wow, okay.
Who just is winning awards now for a film he shot entirely on a Canon 5D Mark III.
Excellent.
I mean, and we're talking big screen projection and stuff like that. Brilliant director. But get a camera, write a story, write a good story, grab everyone you want, and get them in that story. Make it a 3-minute story, or a 5-minute story, or a 15-minute story, and keep doing it. And if you want to become a voice artiste, write something in there of a voice of commentary or something like that. Listen to it and go, oh, that's awful. Oh, I didn't realize I sounded like that. I once had a school teacher. His name was Leonard Penner. He was a single bachelor Cornishman who had a very high and squeaky voice. But of course, you never hear your voice the way other people hear your voice. And he went into a store in Cornwall where we were at school because they got this new device that was becoming extremely popular, a tape recorder. And while somebody was there, the salesman just pressed the button to record him. And he was just talking away like this. And he said, well, could I have a demonstration of this, please? And the recorder said, well, I've actually just been recording you, sir. And he listened, and he went pale, and he walked out of the shop. He had never realized how irritating his voice was. So sad. Leonard Penner, a great geography master. Faint heart never won a fair lady, and that's why I'm still a bachelor, Davies.
Thank you so much, man. One last question. What's coming up next for you? What can people expect?
Oh, God, give me a break.
I know you got like 8 projects coming out.
Talking, yes, about 8 or 9 projects coming out. Now, talking about video games, first of all, Chris Roberts is doing the sequel to Wing Commander, which is Squadron 42, which has Mark Hamill and myself prancing around in spandex with little buttons on us and little marks on our faces, all being captured by 48 motion capture films. So that's going to be huge.
Awesome.
That is going to be a game changer of a game changer. I am now out. I mean, I was only in for 1 season of Shannara, the Shannara Chronicles. I did a film with John Larroquette in November. I played St. Peter in Canada in December. In January, I was in Epping Forest in England doing a little horror picture called Orcs, which I think is going to be super. In February, I was in Lithuania doing a Tolstoy a short story called The Cobbler, which is now going to become Winter Thaw, it's going to be called. and that's when I got the call from the wife saying, "You do realize you've only seen me and your daughter for 3 weeks in the past 10 months." So I had to abandon March and April, but I was in Poland last week doing, the week before last, doing a film with a very great Polish director with lovely Josh Harnett and Malkovich, and there's a few bits and bobs. And
There's I think the Half Dead's coming out too, something like that. Isn't there something called the Half Dead or something?
Oh yeah, the Half Dead. That's a lot of fun. Australian piece. An exact example of what I was saying about this democratic way. These guys, passionate young filmmakers, they've slowly built, a little reputation making, little videos, little in-house videos and stuff like this. They've got this great horror concept, and they've been putting it together bit by bit, and it's turning into a really scary, marvelous horror picture, and been a joy to be a part of it. Yeah, I was doing that in about a month ago. I finished my little bit in that about a month ago.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, man. It's truly an honor.
Oh, yeah.